Hello, everyone. Welcome to 30 Something Diaries. I am your host, Pooja Singh, and today I'm so glad you are here. We all have been there. You know that feeling when we are scrolling through our social media at 2 a.m. in the night and we just don't feel good about ourselves anymore. And we end up comparing every aspect of our life with everyone else on the internet or with everyone else in our friend circle. And that feeling is not very good, right? You also have been there. I have also been there. And that got me thinking a lot of things. And this is why I am here today. I'm sure we live in a time when all of us feel like everyone else is so good at this adulting thing and they have it all figured out. But what about me? I'm not able to figure out anything. My life feels like it is in shambles. And it also feels like I'm very disorganized. I am not where I wanted to be. And this is something that I have lived very deeply, very closely. And thankfully, I don't live like that anymore. But I know a lot of people are still stuck in that loop of comparison and thinking, what would life be if? But real life is lived in the present, and real life is also something that you should be appreciative of, grateful for whatever you have at the moment. And I'm just here to remind you of that, but also talk about a lot of things and talk about my story as I always do, just to give the other person a heads up, a reminder, a little something to carry on to the hope. You have to do it on your own, of course, in the end, but maybe some gentle nudge in the direction of where you want to go is always helpful. It was helpful for me years back. Still to date, I reach out to my friends and they help me a lot. So if you don't have any friends or if you don't have any big sister, I want to be one for you. I want to be that person for you. And this is why I decided I'm going to do this little podcast series on this channel. And this has been my mission, my goal with starting this channel from the beginning. And I'm so happy I have arrived at a point where I can finally do this. It has taken me a long way, a long journey of ups and downs. And I do see that I am ready now. And this is why I am here today. By now, you might be familiar with my story, but if you're not, I'm just gonna briefly talk about my journey here and what I learned from it. I will keep recounting these things throughout the series, but also to give you a background why you should just randomly follow my story or why would you even trust me, right? What are my credentials if I'm only speaking out of my ape or I legit know what I'm talking about? So who am I? I am a 31-year-old woman currently living in California, have been working as a software engineer for close to a decade now. And I hail from a very small town in India. And growing up, I never thought I'll be here. And this is not just about me making it to a new country. It is also about the fact that, yes, growing up, I never thought I could dream big. I could be where I want to be and I could be as much as my eyes dreamt or as much as my heart carried me along. I also had a really tumultuous time ever since I was a little girl, and those mental health issues percolated upward to my 20s, and my late 20s and early 20s were rife with a lot of mental health struggles. I'm going to go into them in a little bit. It was a rough time for me, but finally, through a lot of trial and error and support from friends and families and this community that I have here, I feel so much better now. I feel so much like myself. I feel so much like I can really win over the world. And that has come to me at the very young age of 31. I know for a fact that a lot of women who are listening in, they would be thinking about a clock that is ticking on their head and be thinking about, oh, we are growing old. What would our future look like? And I agree to it. I am totally with you here. This also applies to all genders. I'm not just specifically talking about women, but my experience has been about being a woman coming from a small town in India and studying hard and achieving things and believing in things at some point, but getting lost along the way, but also fighting with this societal pressure that you have around and also fighting with your internal biases that you accumulate and take it to your heart growing up, right? And finally, I feel it's about time that I talk about them and also about time. I talk to my fellow women, fellow young people, or people my age as well, just to get to know their opinion about things, what I'm talking about, but also not be embarrassed about my story anymore and hold a lot of power in it and understand why things happened, how they happened, and do not repeat the things that were really detrimental to my journey, to my growth. Keep at the journey or the inspiration that I took from my younger self to heal and to grow and to make something of myself and see how things unfold. Like, I see really big things happening for me. It is just a vision. I don't know if it will come true, but if history is any proof, personal history, if I have made some effort in some direction, and I have not given up. Life has given me so much to be grateful for. Before going into my present day story, I want to paint a little picture about the little girl that I was. Coming from a small town in India, even then, I was always the girl who had the right answer. I was always very ambitious. I was always top of my class. I cracked a very hard exam, competitive exam back in India. Then I got into one of the best colleges in India, engineering colleges in India. And by now, anyone who would have ticked all these boxes would be really happy with their life, would feel like they got something that they wanted and they are successful. But lo and behold, this was the time when I went to college. And this was the time when I first moved outside my little house, away from my family. I am the eldest of 3 siblings, so I was the one doing it for the first time in my small little family. And this was the first time I realized that there are things in my life or things in my head that are not okay. And being the young girl that I was, and there was not a lot of awareness around mental health issues at that time, I just let it pass as you usually do. I let everything under the rug. But I started having a lot of episodes around. I also had depression. I had difficulty being social. I was always socially anxious. I was good with books. I was good with academics. I was good with accolades, but not very good with social settings, because I think back when I was in class in school, I felt pressurized and bullied. I would not like to say that that was my whole story, but I did feel like that because I was the nerdy kid. I was always in my books and I wasn't very fun to be around by some kids' definition. But that was me all along. I guess around the time when I was growing up, there was not a lot of awareness around you just being a nerd or be yourself or do what you want to do. And it was almost everything around what is cool and how it is cool to look down on other people. I am so happy that the landscape has changed now. But back then it was like that. And I sort of developed a social anxiety. I didn't have a lot of friends in college. I had some friends, roommates, but I didn't have a good relationship with them. And again, I felt in some bits and pieces in college, I was bullied, I felt really lonely, and I also lost my sleep. And this has been going on with me ever since I did study for my competitive exam. This was when I got a lot of mental health issues. And no one knew how to heal them. No one even talked about them, right? Kind of became big around the time I was in college because I was alone. And this was the first time I was left to understand and fight the real world in a way, but still I was very young and did not have a lot of autonomy to operate on my own. I wasn't financially independent back then. I wasn't emotionally mature and physically and mentally mature to understand what is happening around me. And it was a lot of hiccups. It was not a really pretty time in my life, I would like to say. And then I went to Bangalore for my first job. Again, what followed me was a stream of lack of self-worth, panic attacks, insomnia, depression, loneliness, feeling like I don't belong anywhere and the whole world is against me. I had social anxiety, as I said, so I would always second guess all social interactions, even at work, even in friends. So I made no new friends in Bangalore. I had some friends from my college who moved there for job as well. So I would meet them, I would hang out with them. But back then my self-worth was so low. I think I never thought of friendships and relationships from a secure viewpoint. I was always insecure in the fact that people would leave me or I don't have any good friends in my life. and I would be very finicky and just be insecure with myself. And I don't think so. I had a good relationship with myself, so I couldn't have a good relationship with people around me. And that is on me. I guess around that time when you are in your early 20s, before 25, not everyone is looking for a deeper connection in friendships. And that's okay. People just want to hang out or do some activities around the things that they like doing and make some friends around it and just have fun. People are earning for the first time in their life. They come from a very humble backgrounds like me. And for the first time in their life, they are getting money in their pocket. And they are also in a big city, apparently, like me. So they want to have fun. They want to meet new friends. They want to be bubbly. They want to be chatty. They want to do everything that they want to do. But around the same time, my insomnia became really bad and I couldn't sleep at nights. If you cannot sleep, then a lot of your things mentally and physically mess up. This is the thing with body. If you don't understand it, if you don't treat it well, if you don't sleep, it really come to bite you in the back. And that is what happened with me. Around the 1 year mark of me working on this new job, I started having panic attacks. I wouldn't sleep. I wouldn't eat. I have always been a really bad eater, so I wouldn't eat, and my overall health was really bad. So, what would happen if you do not treat yourself? It just gets worse. So, this was around the time that I discovered that I have anxiety, I have depression, but even then, I was not ready to accept this truth and go on with it. It went on for like a couple of years. At the 3 year mark, it got so bad. I wasn't able to understand myself. I wasn't able to understand what is happening around me. I was very dysfunctional. I wasn't able to do simple tasks that you are supposed to do. I lost all will to go to work and all will to take care of myself, how I look, to eat, to enjoy things, to feel loved. I really just was not myself, so to speak. And this was the time that I had to quit my job because I wasn't very functional and had to figure some things out. So I quit that job. I really did think that I'm gonna fix myself. And how I'm gonna fix myself, I'm gonna go out there and find the best job that is in the market. And that is how I will rebuild my self-worth. Now you have to understand that even in the darkest of my times, even when I had nothing, I was still thinking about the next best achievement that I can achieve, that is possible for me, and that is how I'm gonna fix myself. My self-worth was not something that I was honing inside me or practicing inside me. I was looking for answers outside and answers that were highly out of my control. And I never realized that time. I never realized that true happiness and true self-worth is going to be found inside you. If you are not happy at X, if you're so unhappy when you achieved X, you are not going to be happy when you achieve X plus Y. That is the simplest of truths. And if you're going to be happy at X minus Y, you're going to be happy at X. You're going to be happy at X plus Y. And this is something that I had to learn the hard way. So I went about finding the perfect job for myself. I looked and I looked and I got rejected, and my already bad self-worth declined because there were a lot of rejection. You have to understand interviewing, especially in tech, can be a very dicey thing. It can be a very chance based thing where some days are good, some days are bad. Even if you're 100% prepared, you might mess up the interview, you might forget some things, you might not be able to solve the problem that they give you in real time in like 25 minutes. And you have to really, really practice hard. You have to go back to school, you have to learn all the algorithms, and some days the interviewer might not be in the good mood and your day will be messed. So that will always happen, and having an already bad mental health doesn't help. But I did find a job after like 8 months of being at my lowest. I had really bad depression. I had really bad anxiety. It was really hard for me to just get out of my bed. It was really hard for me to be functional. And thankfully, I had my sister living with me. I had my partner also living in the same city, and they tried to help. But you also have to understand that this is something that you have to fix on yourself. Like, no one is going to live with yourself in your head. It is just you and your head that is there all the time. Okay. So I was still thankful for a very supporting family. My family has always been supportive of me as well. They understood I had some things I'm feeling low in my life, and they really tried to help me. My dad, he would just try to understand me. He would just try to tell me that it's all going to be all right and it's okay, even if I'm not doing a job. He never, never, for all the push that he gave me in my life, he never once told me that I'm bad for quitting this job or I'm such a failure that I'm not working. But I did feel like a failure because it was on me. I worked, I interviewed, I was looking for a job, and eventually I landed a job and I started work. At that time, I don't know how I did it. I also started therapy around the same time because it was getting really bad for me. So I started therapy, I started a new job, and off I went. You have to understand that my self worth is low, and I also always used to think that I'm not good at my work. I am not supposed to be here. I'm an imposter. And whatever I have gotten is by luck, or I somehow figured out how to crack the interview, but I'm an imposter with all the people around me. So that kind of attitude reflected in my work when I was working at that startup when I just joined. So I would really second guess all the work that I would do. Any interaction, I would feel stupid about myself, like I don't know what I'm doing. And it was just not a very pretty place for me to be. I understand now that all of this happens because you not your biggest champion. You are not rooting for yourself. Rather, you are just in a way your own worst critique. And the way I spoke to myself all these years growing up was really toxic. I realized it later. Anytime I want to get anything done or achieve something, I would always tell myself that you can't do it. It's just by luck that you would stumble upon it. But I did it. I did all the hard work. I was there, not on a chance, not on some random thing that fell into my lap, but solely because I worked hard for it. So, what else I was expecting out of that hard work, right? I wanted to achieve something. It took me a lot of time to understand that you do things to achieve something and it's possible for you to achieve something. It is not luck based, but I could only point it to how I spoke to myself all these years and how I was my own worst critique in a way. So with therapy, I had to fix that. With therapy, I also fixed my social anxiety in a way, understanding social cues, understanding myself, understanding what things I do wrong. And being called out for things that you do wrong is something that was missing in my life. So therapy gave me that. I eventually was also looking for jobs outside India. So after a lot of struggle, a lot of interviewing again, around the 15 months mark of me working hard and continue giving interviews, continue studying, I got an opportunity to move to London. I took it, of course. I really wanted to move outside India. Even I don't know what kind of relationship I was having with myself. At one point, I would really berate myself, be my worst critique that you can't do it. But I also wanted all of these things. So I believe that if I'm hard on myself, only then I will be motivated to do things, which is not true for me today. I turned it around. I turned how I spoke to myself, and I found that I'm much more happier than myself, and I am much more productive, and I'm much more focused in doing things that I want to do. And this is where I wanted to be. Then I moved to London. I was very happy. I finally got what I wanted. I finally felt for the first time in my life, things are gonna turn around. Things are gonna look up. Even then, London is a gloomy city and you don't get sun often. I was still doing therapy. I was still maneuvering things. You have to live alone there. You have to also battle seasonal depression. I already had depression at that time. So I had some tools. I was talking to my therapist about certain things and we had a plan. Around the 5-6 month mark, I lost a very important part of my life, my family, and that kind of broke me. That kind of put me back to where I started, that nothing good is going to come to my life. And everything that I have is fluke, and everything that I work hard for is somehow cursed. Now, I don't want to go into what happened around the period that I was grieving, around the first year of grief. It was again a very murky period for me, and I honestly want to put it behind me in some way. I worked somewhat in understanding it. There's nothing to understand, in somewhat battling it. So I don't want to go much into that today, at least. Eventually, I somehow realize that this is the rock bottom for me. It cannot get any worse. And when you hit rock bottom, I feel it can be a very strong foundation for you. Once I was at my lowest, I felt like this is the minima, right? I can only go up from here. And that is what I did. I think I let things pass. I let myself go to the lowest. And then I decided enough is enough. Now I have seen the worst. I will never, never, never arrive at this point ever again in my life. So this is also the time when I seriously got into fitness. I got into running. And I started running by looking at people running in front of my apartment. And there was a park and people would run quite often there. So I would just look at them and think I would go one day. And after like 6 months of me dilly-dallying, I finally went out for my first run. I still remember it to date. I can never forget it because that was the day that my life changed. And running gave me a lot of things. More importantly, it gave me the mental strength. It seriously healed a lot of my mental health issues. I can't explain it today at least, but it helped me sleep better. It helped me eat better. It helped me understand my body better. And for the 1 year that I was seriously running, I felt I could finally let go of things. I could finally stop being angry, so angry at everything and everyone and my life. And I can finally just run away from things. But once I ran, I also got so much control of my body, so much control of my mind. It helped me figure out things. It helped me do the hard things. It improved my willpower significantly. It made me disciplined in all areas of my life. And I feel this is why I could understand a lot of things around me. I could finally foster good relationship with myself, with my family, with people around me, and really steady attitude towards my career. I wanted to also do this. So people often ask me, how do you do it? I think having seen the worst and knowing that at one point in my life, I really wanted to do something for myself, but I always felt that my mental health is never going to allow me to do that. Being here and having that space and having that mind and having that clean slate and having that mental clarity now, I sometimes get burned out, but I would rather be here than there. And I greatly appreciate my days. I am so, so grateful of what I am able to do now, touch wood, that I wouldn't trade it for the world. Even though my days are super busy, I sometimes do not get time to take a breather. I'm trying to be better at it because mental health is really holistic. It is not just one thing, but I really do want it to do the things that I am doing today. And with a clean slate, with not being angry, with not being insecure, not doing it for the wrong reasons. And that is how my journey began. This is a little about me. And I just wanted to get out there that yes, I understood some things along the way. I understood that not what you see outside is always the thing that is the truth. A lot of the truths are found inside you. A lot of the truths are also understood by you being out there. And if you just sell yourself short, if you do not overcome your insecurities and do not get out of your comfort zone, meet the people outside your own head, outside of the shell that you create, just because you have made some opinions or you have lived a different life, then you will miss out on so many opportunities in your life, and you will also miss out on a life that you always wanted to live just because a person inside of you told you that you are not enough. You are enough. I'm going to tell you that. And really, I'm not anyone to tell you that. You should be the one telling yourself every single day that you are enough. Over the next several episodes, I want to unpack some of the biggest lies that we have been told about happiness, about success, about self-worth, self-care, and the relationship that we have with ourselves and people around us. I'm going to start with a topic that hits too close to home for some of us: how self-care has become just another way for us to be hard on ourselves. These days, you see, self-care has just become another way of self-punishment. If you don't do this, if you're not the it girl, if you are not the most productive, most disciplined person, you hate yourself and your self-worth should be in the trash. I want to dig into all of this in the first episode, and then I want to go really explore how perfectionism is killing our spirit, the anxiety that comes with this constant need to achieve, and the people pleasing attitude that leave us feeling insecure and resentful. But before all of this, before we dive in, I want you to know that your story matters. Your struggles are valid. Your growth is worthy of celebration, even when it doesn't look like what you expected in the first place. You don't have to feel worthy of all the things that you desire, all the things that are supposed to make you feel happy, successful, and accomplished. Life is much more than what you see. Life is much more than that, and it has a lot to offer when you see beyond these things. If you're really feeling behind, you are not. If you're feeling lost, you are not. You're right where you are supposed to be. Maybe still figuring things out, maybe just roaming around, taking a walk, taking a stroll. That is fine. This is life. Life is really long, life is really big, and you're not really missing out on a lot of things if you are just figuring things out. That is also part of life. So grab your horses, grab your journals, grab your cup of tea or cup of coffee for next time. And I want to create a space where it is okay to not feel okay, where the definition of growth is not just achieving perfect things, looking perfect, always ticking off boxes, and where becoming who you are is more important than becoming who you think you should be. So yes, now that you're here, welcome to 30 something diaries. I hope you feel validated in your own story. I hope you feel that your voice is heard here. And I really do hope that this becomes the space where you come back to and feel like you also have something to be grateful for. But also, there are so many things that you need to achieve in your life in a more holistic manner. And for that, you need to carry on. I really do hope this little initiative brings that joy in your life, brings that motivation in your life. And that is my goal. That is all I wanted to do. Okay, I'll see you guys next time.